You are listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
What is up, Super Bowl champion Chiefs Kingdom?
I told you.
The one-on-one.
Travis, I said we were going to do it, baby. Not everybody called you guys out. I said you guys were going to do it.
Man, you called it, Jeff Stradamus, and here we are after a long season, world champions. Chiefs Kingdom, forget the intro. Again, like we ended off last episode, I'm so happy for y'all. Yes. I can't think of a better fan base. I can't think of a better community and organization that deserves this. And so congratulations, world champions. We saw you enjoying it today. Big Jeff, great to see you, brother. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling like a champion. Today's a special episode, so I wore the ring today.
Yeah, man.
This is a big one, man.
So many questions for you. This was just such an incredible experience, and I still don't know how to be a fan of the game. Every year I watch the Super Bowl, and I would just I would give anything to be there. Anything.
I feel the same way, man. I was really proud because a lot of those guys I know, the coaching staff is pretty much the same. So I know the character of the men in that locker room. I know the organization top to bottom and what they're all about, and they're so deserving of this. But deep down inside, I'm like, man, I wish I was there. Right. I wish I was out there a part of this. But it's just amazing to be a fan, man. I couldn't imagine what it feels like being a fan of this organization, for 50 years, 60 years, and being able to live out this era and see, AFC titles every year, to see Super Bowls and have great players like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and people that not are just good players, they're good people. So this is a great time to be a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, tell me about it. And I crave that too. And it's like I guess I have trouble sort of detaching from being wanting to be a player. Yeah. Right. So it's like, as happy as I am for the organization, as happy as I am for the guys, for the community, all the guys, so a lot of the coaching staff is still the same from when I was there. Kels is still there, Winchester, guys that we know.
Yeah.
And yet there's still a part of me that's just not that I wanted them to win. I mean, it's every year when somebody wins a Super Bowl. It's just like, man, I wish I could feel what that feels like. Yeah. I wish I could go back and give it another shot. It's like, I can never just be a fan and enjoy it. Like, I just feel like it always comes with this, like, damn, I didn't get to do that, But I'm sorry, I'm incredibly excited for Chiefs Kingdom. Again, an incredible fan base. We love you guys. Big Jeff, where do we start, man? Do we want to break? Do we want to recap the game real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about the game a little bit, man. I think not the details of the game. We can just a brief summary.
Yeah, can you see us in cover?
Everybody knows we got the win.
We got the win. That's the best part
about it.
Fantastic game.
I couldn't go, this episode without giving that O-line a shout out.
They did incredible.
Leading up to the Super Bowl, everyone talked about how incredible Philadelphia's D-line was, and kind of forgot that Kansas City has a good O-line. The stories were that their pass rush was going to get home. They're going to make it a tough day for Patrick. Hassan Reddick was the, second place defensive player of the year, and Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, all these amazing defensive linemen, and not once did we hear anything about the guys protecting Patrick. And they went out there and they played a hell of a game.
You ain't kidding.
0 sacks, instead of 11 pressures. Everybody knew from left to right. I mean, Orlando Brown, Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and then you got Andrew Wiley. The 4 guys from left to right until you got the right tackle. We kind of knew what we were going to get from those guys.
Right.
The biggest question mark from the media side of things was Andrew Wiley. Right. How was he going to hold up against Hassan Reddick? And they thought it was going to be a field day. And I'm so proud of Andrew because I know him personally. I know how hard he works. I know where he's come from. The number of times he's been cut in this league, the number of times he's been on the practice squad, and what it took for him to be what he is today.
Mm.
I mean, this guy's developed so well. I mean, Andy Heck has a huge part in that, but it wouldn't be done without the guy doing the work. The guy being able to persevere, his mentality. He's a dog. So I want to give Andrew Wiley a special shout out. Shout out to my guy, Andrew. Hell of a game. He was my MVP for the game. I know I actually got the actual MVP, but without Andrew, it would have been tough to win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, he did a fantastic job. And the one thing I noticed about him, I've never met him personally, but he's one of those guys that I watched his interviews after the game, and he just seems like such a genuinely nice guy. So when you take into account everything you said about the practice squads and everything it took for him to actually get to this point, plus the fact that this is like a true humble, awesome dude, and it's one of those guys you can just tell right away, like, oh yeah, he's
taken all of the blows, he's taken all of the criticism, he's been a punching bag all year, quote unquote the weakest link of the offensive line. Anytime there was a bad game, the arrow was pointed toward him,
right?
But he never let that falter. He never faltered. He never let that get him off track. He stayed the course. He trusted the process. And when it mattered most, he played his best game of the season.
Right.
And that is unbelievable. That's amazing.
And he's getting their best shot, right? So this isn't an off day for Philly. It's not like Philly had an off day.
It's a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So when you were analyzing it, Jeff, what was it a mix of protection schemes and technique, or was it just sort of they just lined up and took them off?
It was a ton of factors. I mean, the game plan was perfect. I mean, we punted the ball one time, scored pretty much every single possession we had the ball, and the game plan was a lot of quick game. Patrick did a wonderful job in the pocket. I think we don't talk about that enough. Like, I know he was dealing with the ankle, so he understood he didn't have the mobility that he normally has. Right. And he knew that the edge rushers for Philly got up the field really fast and they could bend the corners. So he wasn't dropping as deep as he normally does. And the interior of the pocket held up really well, which allowed him to stay in that pocket. And he was getting back to that drop and getting it out. There was no hesitating. There was no running out of the back of the pocket. If he did take off, it was direct route, straightforward. Right. When he made plays in that way. But it just was a good job. I mean, we ran a few screens. We ran the ball efficiently. It just was a perfect day for the offense, in my opinion. Right.
Defense did a great job too, I think. And we talked about, we've been talking about on the show how these big games, it starts up front. And I believe Philly had 115 yards rushing, and I think most of that was from the quarterback.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about how good this run game was, and so same thing on the defensive side of the ball. Those guys did a great job.
Nick Bolton, shout out to you, man. He had a hell of a game too.
Oh yeah,
would have been a Super Bowl MVP if they would have counted that other scoop and score.
Yeah, he's incredible. No doubt. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. No doubt, he did a fantastic job. I want to circle back to the offense though, real quick. I remember at the beginning of the year we were talking. I think you made this prediction. I believe maybe BJ had said something about this as well, but this idea that we lost Tyreek Hill, so we lost the sort of deep threat, but the guys that we brought in opened up this quick game. Yep. They opened up these intermediate routes, and the prediction was, and I believe you said it, Jeff, was this offense is going to be more productive, in a sort of paradoxical way, losing Tyreek Hill, arguably the best receiver in the NFL, but adding these different pieces in the way they fit into the scheme. Did that hold up this year? I mean, that was the key.
We were better in every category offensively this year. This is the best year in Chiefs history for offense. And just to see the way Patrick stepped up, man. He knew he had to be a better quarterback this year. He's been unbelievable. He's been phenomenal up until now. But this year he had to come out and play the position at a level that he wasn't playing before.
Right.
And to think he could get better from previous years was mind-blowing, but he did it.
Right.
The offense was tough to defend because he was getting the ball. He was spreading it out. It was diversity. You didn't know he was getting the ball. Obviously, Travis is going to do his thing, but outside of Travis, each week it was a different guy.
Right.
You couldn't target anybody. Years prior, it was, you had to get targets to Travis. You had to get Tyreek the ball. So you were able to defensively kind of know, all right, if I take these guys out of the equation, it's going to kind of hinder a game plan. But now, who do we take out? Okay, we double Travis. Okay, now I'm going to get, 9 guys involved.
Right. That's right. That's what it was. There was 9 other guys.
Yeah, I'm going to get 9 other guys involved. Now I'm going to, send Sky Moore into a jet motion and corn dog him out, whatever the play call is, and throw his first touchdown of his career in the Super Bowl.
Isn't that's
the type of offense.
Classic Andy Reid stuff.
I mean, we're going to go 9 straight weeks or whatever it was with Jared McKinnon scoring a receiving touchdown, breaking an NFL record. You're going to see Juju highlighted. You're going to see MVS in the playoffs go off like the number one receiver. Like, it was a different guy each week. And Andy said it heading up to the Super Bowl. There's going to be somebody that steps up in this game that you don't know. We're talking about the big time guys, but there's going to be some. I mean, Kadarius Toney, that punt return.
That was huge.
Who knew that we were going to get him mid-season? He scored on the corn dog play. I love that.
Right.
Like, of course, Andy Reid's going to name something out the food.
Right. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And win the Super Bowl because of it. But this offense was it's just a host of guys. It was a committee. It was by committee. Running back, I mean, we started with Clyde, and then we went to Pistachio. AKA Pacheco.
I'm doing interviews all week. People are asking me, to build Pistachio. I'm like, that's Pistachio.
Yeah,
like,
Jared
that's the best I got.
It's just a host of guys, man. It was a great group effort.
Yeah, they did an incredible job. I mean, all three phases, playing at a high level. It's just exactly what you would expect from an Andy Reid coach team with the veterans on that team. And you could tell that not only, was the scheme good, techniques good, all that stuff, but clearly one thing we talked about that was important that played into this was the leadership and the knowledge and sort of experience of being in these big games, being in the Super Bowl, right? The leadership on that team knew what it was like. They weren't going to flinch when they were 10 down. They weren't going to flinch when Patrick Mahomes gets off limping a little bit. I mean, everything was calm, smooth, collective. Boom, we're running. And it's classic KC. I mean, that's how we do things now.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break, Big Jeff, and hear from our sponsor, AG1.
Folks, I'm going to tell you about today's sponsor, and that is Athletic Greens. I've been taking AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day, and I gave it a try because I wanted to get that better gut health. I wanted to have the sustained energy. You got to support the immune system, especially this time of the year. And I hated taking all those pills and vitamins to actually get all those supplements, and it tastes great as well. I take it in the morning before I start my day, before I make that cup of coffee, and it makes me feel ready to take on everything that we've got going on here at KCSN. And all great athletes take care of their body. I'm not the same kind of athlete as Patrick Mahomes, but I still like to take care of my body, and that's when I've been going to AG1. That's why I'm a huge fan. You get all of that nutrition in just one little cup. It's great for long-term gut health support as well, with just 75 high-quality ingredients that give me key daily nutrients. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplemental routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/KCSN. That's athleticgreens.com/KCSN. Check it out.
Welcome back.
Thanks, Doc. I don't know what it is about him reading those, man.
Just hurry up, Tuck.
They just kill me inside.
We appreciate all our sponsors.
Oh, we appreciate our sponsors.
AG1 Greens.
I'm laughing at Tucker, man. He cracks me up. All right, Big Jeff, we're back at it. Hey, so like I said at the beginning, this is something that I never got to experience. You did get to experience this, man. Tell me, what is it like to win a Super Bowl?
It is it's surreal. It's one of those things that obviously we all want to get it, but when you get it, it's almost a numb feeling, right? It doesn't feel real, but the moment that it does feel real is when you actually get one of these, and you get that ring. When that thing comes and you look at it and you say, man, I want to get another one of these. That's one of those feelings. And that I decided to retire, but I felt like after seeing this, I wanted to give it one more shot. But I went in the direction of retirement, but seeing the guys do it again, man, like I feel the same joy. Like I honestly do. I know what it takes to win one of these. I know the work that they put in, and I know how much it means to these guys. Like the selflessness that it takes to win a championship, the ability to lean on one another and hold each other accountable at the same time, while also knowing that, hey, I can trust in you that you're going to do your job. Like it takes a special group of men. It's not all about talent. This was supposed to be a rebuild year, right? This was supposed to be a year where we were missing Tyreek Hill, where we had a ton of rookies that had to play, big time snaps.
Right.
But over the course of the season, we got better and better because of it. These guys got to, play out their rookie year in the back half of the season. They weren't rookies anymore because of it, because of that experience.
Right.
And it only bodes well for the future, man. We talked about it all season during this podcast. Trust the process. And a lot of people make fun of me when I'm like, hey, be patient. Or you read the comments, hey, this is what. Trust the process. Those are conclusions. Just understand that you have Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Christian Jones, a GM and Brett Veach. He knows how to evaluate talent and bring in the right guys that fit into the system.
Right.
That every single guy that they bring in, now you got to miss some guys, but majority of the people that they bring in are going to fit the system and they're going to make us a better football team.
Right.
And that's what we saw this year.
Right. And it just 10 years of reinforcing that fact. I mean, even like this has just consistently year in and year out been an excellent team. And, the even more reason for Chiefs fans, just to circle back to your point moving forward, to not rush to panic, right? I mean, this team we've been through seasons where, we had that shit beginning last year. We're right back where, in the AFC Championship game. We had to deal with injuries. We're winning Super Bowls. I mean, it's just the team where there's Andy Reid and his philosophy. There's so many systems in place to cover for things.
I'll give you a perfect example of trusting the process and understanding that one, everything happens for a reason. I fully believe in that in everything in life, right?
Right.
But also, like, your failures aren't failures if you're able to learn from them, if you're able to get better from them. And this organization, year in, year out, they get better when they fail.
Yeah, no doubt.
We lost the AFC title game in 2018, Tom Brady in overtime, because someone lined up off sides.
Right.
You don't know how bad that hurt. Like, I lost 30 pounds that off season. 30 pounds. But we follow up the next year and we won a Super Bowl. Right? The following year, we go to the Super Bowl again and we get blown out by Tampa. And it's because Patrick wasn't protected properly. What did they do? They went in the offseason and
fixed it right up.
They fixed it right away. They got Orlando Brown. They nailed it in the draft with Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey. One is an all-pro already. I think Trey Smith will be an all-pro soon, but both are Pro Bowl type players.
Mm-hmm.
And we lose in the AFC title game.
which I mean, like,
but those guys are young. We shouldn't have lost that game, but we learned from it. And guess what?
We bounced right back up.
We bounced right back. So you don't know how the season's going to end. Just know, however it ends, we're going to learn from it and we're going to be better for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back to what you were talking about the sort of experience of winning, you had hit on how much time and effort and work goes into this. And that's when I look back at my 9 years, every year I had to experience the sort of dread and down, like just being down by the fact that at some point we lost and that was it. So you put in all this work, all this effort, you come together as a team, you're going out there working hard as hell for each other, working hard for the coaches, putting everything on the line, sacrificing so much just to get to that point. And every year I had to experience not getting there.
Yeah.
And so when you said that, it just hit me like what that must be like to do all of that and then finally get that reward.
Auto attrition.
Oh.
To finally break through. You saw a bunch of emotion, especially more this Super Bowl with the second time around with guys that won the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Frank Clark. He was dealing with some personal stuff, but was very emotional. Travis Kelce.
Right.
A list of guys. There was a lot more emotion because they really fought really hard for this one.
Right.
They really fought their asses off for this one. And Travis said it. Nobody believed in them. No one even picked. Majority of freaking talking heads said that we weren't even going to win the division, let alone win a title.
Right.
We were being picked not to make the playoffs.
I don't understand.
And they won a Super Bowl. And they don't talk about it, but they heard every single comment, everything from the media. They felt that and they built up a machine and they went out there and proved it. And that's why you saw the response.
Right.
And you got the emotion because they fought for this one.
And we compare it to the Patriots dynasty, right? And the one thing I can say about New England, though, that has been different with Kansas City is every year, as much as everybody hated New England, they were always picked to win the division. Always. Yeah. I mean, you had to say, okay, I mean, they're going to win. We hope somebody beats them because we hate them, but they're probably going to win again. They're clearly the best team. For whatever reason, I just don't understand why with Kansas City, they don't get that same treatment every year. Every single year, I feel like it's Kansas City's not going to make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, every year, or it's the Chargers going to win the division.
I don't know. Yeah, the Chargers are going to win and it's been since 2016 that we won the AFC, at least win the AFC West at a minimum.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me, brother. But
I hope they do it again.
Yeah, do it again. I know. I love
Keep
it.
doing it. It's good luck.
Keep winning.
It's good luck. It's good luck.
We saw the parade today. Talk to me about the parade, man. I mean, what?
I think that's the coolest. The coolest part about the parade is just the fan experience of it. Right?
Yeah.
I can remember when I was a kid. I grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
I remember winning the title in '98 and going out as a fan to watch the Bulls and their championship parade and being a fan of that and just how much that meant to me. Like being able to see Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, being able to see these guys in real life, like it was like an out of body experience. So being a player on the other side, I knew how important it was to engage with those people and seeing like the parade. You see them chugging beers and you see Pat walking up to fans and taking pictures. Like they will never forget that. Like never. You might forget it as a player. But they will never forget that. Like that will be one of the biggest moments in their lives. And I think that it's very important to be able to touch them that way because they deserve it. Right. I mean, a lot of these people were fans before you were ever a player with this organization.
Right.
Diehards. I'm talking through the good and the bad. And there's been a lot of bad, right?
Right.
A lot of bad. So they deserve this stretch run that we're in right now. These are the golden years. And I think it's important to be able to engage with them and not get too big headed. Like what's really cool about Kansas City is like it's a smaller market, right? This isn't a big city. This isn't Dallas. This isn't New York. This isn't somewhere where they have a ton of sports teams and you got like Boston, Titletown. This city is about the Chiefs, right? Everything is about the Chiefs. So the fact that they're able to win for this community and bring so much joy to boast, the excitement level, the economy, what they're doing for the city is unmatched right now. So I want them to realize that they're doing something great, but also the responsibility with their greatness is to, give back to the community.
Yeah. And, to your point, I think one thing that we forget, the last time KC won the Super Bowl, we were in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, so think of all the things that got sort of truncated or curtailed or whatever.
Exactly. So this one will be celebrated. The parade was back in 2020. It was before all the stay-at-home orders got put into place. So there was a parade, but there was nothing after the fact. It kind of everything kind of got.
That's right.
Everything kind of got like, I guess, diluted because of it. But
wait, it wasn't. Oh, it was. Oh, really?
Well, it wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. It was after that. It was after.
Yeah. So
right. Sorry. That's right.
I'm excited to see, what it's going to look like in March. In April.
When they get the rain,
when the city can really be out, because it's going to be a celebration up until, September.
Right.
And fans are going to celebrate this thing up until we kick off the regular season again.
Right.
And hell, we're going to be favorites, man. I think we should be. I mean, this is a young team, like I said, and it's supposed to be a rebuild year, and they're only going to get better from here with all the picks and the experience that they just got.
I mean, what team can you put together? Even just thinking the AFC that could. Yeah, I mean, who could?
I mean, the AFC is tough. I mean, like, I think
Rodgers in New York.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo is going to be good. I think Josh Allen was more hurt than what
he let on.
And since he's going to always be sensitive,
right?
I mean, they're a force to be reckoned with. But regardless, like at the end of the day, it's about us. Like I don't think anyone can beat the Chiefs but the Chiefs. I will continue to say that. As long as you have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and all the other guys have a pulse, you have a chance. So this team is always going to be a favorite in my opinion, no matter what the media says.
No doubt, brother. Before we get going, I did want to ask you about Juju's tweet. So Juju tweeted something on Twitter. Tell me about that and your response to it.
Yeah. He tweeted a Valentine's Day card with Bradbury on it and said, "I'll hold you when it matters most."
Yeah.
I think outside of Juju tweeting it would be pretty funny, right?
Right.
But given the circumstance and the facts, I think it was kind of not the right thing to do. I mean, everyone has an opinion. Some people will say, hey, it's just a joke, or don't be so soft and so hard, or whatever. Or some might say it's too harsh. I think Juju seems like a really good guy. I don't know Juju. I do think it was just a joke. I don't think he meant anything by it, right?
Right.
But I do think it was pretty lame for him to do that.
Yeah.
Like, especially Bradbury admitting after the game that he held him.
Yeah,
that is
classy act.
Yeah, that's a crucial moment. The guy just lost the Super Bowl. In a critical moment, he made a mistake. And of all people, you should know what that feels like as a player. Now, if this was Cincy last week, and Eli Apple made this mistake, I would say go after him, because Eli is notorious for being a troll. And
Right.
he deserves this type of reaction. But Bradbury, just seeing the way he responded to it after the game, how humble he was about it, and he took the blame like a man. I don't think it was, maybe it was something said on the field. I don't know, but
Could be.
From my perspective, that's how it looks.
Yeah, no, and I think I agree with you. Honestly, more context could change my opinion, but I agree. I think, especially for Juju, he spent how many years in Pittsburgh with a Hall of Fame quarterback, and when was how many Super Bowls did they make over there? It's like, I think there has to be, and he has Mike Tomlin, obviously an incredible head coach.
Yeah.
So I think I just feel like if I was on this team, there was always be a sense of humility. Like, yeah, we got Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean, like Pat Mahomes is our quarterback. You know what I mean? So like, I would be, I granted, if somebody else is talking shit, then that's one thing. But I think with that comes the humility of the fact, like, we have the greatest.
Yeah, it was just heading up to the Super Bowl, right? Like, we had 2 weeks of all, like, I think it was pretty weird because there was no bad blood. There was no press clippings where players were disrespectful.
No.
Everything was about the brothers. Everything was about Andy Reid.
Right.
QB matchup, and it was all positive talk. That's why I'm leaning toward, there was something that went on during the game where Bradbury probably was talking crazy to Juju or something, where he felt like, you know what, I'm gonna throw this out there and rub it in.
Right.
But if that didn't happen, it's lame.
It's lame.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of that, we are world champions. Chiefs Kingdom.
We are world champions. I wish I could play the music right now, but let's go, baby.
We are world champions, baby. Thank you so much for this year. This is our last episode of the season. We'll be back towards OTAs, the draft, all of that stuff, and that stuff gets going. But we just want to tell you, thank you so much for tuning in. To all our listeners, we love you. We're incredibly grateful. Celebrate this. This is such an awesome thing. And I know, speaking for Jeff as well, we're so grateful for our community out there in Kansas City, and we're so happy that you all get to experience this. So enjoy it. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. Big Jeff, thank you for carrying the show this year, brother. So many times you bailed me out, man. I love you.
And it's all you.
I'm very fortunate to call you a friend.
It should be the Mike DeVito show, not one-on-one.
Mike DeVito butchers it. Jeff James.
Appreciate you, brother. Go Chiefs, man. Let's win this.
Thanks for watching this production of KC Sports Network, the fastest growing sports media network in Kansas City. Check out these videos that feature our team of more than 15 former players, insiders, and analysts, bringing you the best Chiefs coverage you can find. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.